Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I'm 65 years old. And you know what? I'm tired. I know that's not the most inspiring way to start a video, but it's the honest to goodness truth. And if you watch this video until the end, you will probably understand exactly what I mean when I say that. Let me dive right into it. I'm the caregiver for my niece. She's about to turn 46 years old in February. She was diagnosed with autism when she was younger, though later on they said it was a learning disability. Honestly, because of her short-term memory issues that she's having, I don't even know which one is accurate anymore. What I do know is that she needs full-time care. And right now, that care falls solely on me. I didn't know I would be caring for someone as if I was raising a child ever again. Well, I mean at this stage of my life. But the chips fell into my hands. It wasn't always me, though. Her mother, who was my sister, died in a tragic car accident about 30 years ago. My mom stepped up and took over, caring for my niece and her siblings as well. Then my mom passed away 18 years ago, and my dad took up the baton. He did it for 11 years before he died 7 years ago. And now, it's me. My niece does have a brother who's 42 years old and a sister who's 36. They hardly show any interest. I have a brother who's 66, just a year older than I am, and he helps when he can. But most days, it's just me. It's like everyone just assumes that I'm okay with doing this for the rest of my life. I don't complain every day. I do grumble to myself on bad days, though, and I wonder how I got here. Sometimes I feel guilty, ashamed of thinking that way, and sometimes I am grateful that she's not in a wheelchair. Or it would have probably been more challenging for me. I raised my own kids already. Both my boys are 36 and 30 years old. I thought I was done with that chapter of life. But here I am at 65, and it feels like I'm raising a young child all over again. Let me paint you a picture of what my days are like. My niece talks to herself a lot. And I don't mean just conversation. I mean constant talking and even loud singing that sometimes drives me absolutely nuts. I love her, but there are days when I just need quiet. And quiet doesn't exist in our house every day. So let me confess, I sometimes lock myself in my room. I guess to just have that quiet time while she continues to talk to herself. Then there's the repetition. I'll tell her something. I'll explain it clearly. She'll look at me, nod her head and say, "Yes, auntie, I understand." And then I kid you not, she'll turn around and do the exact same thing I just told her not to do. Do you know how frustrating that is? To say the same thing over and over and over again. To feel like you're not being heard. To wonder if she's just ignoring you. Some days I lose my patience. I'm not proud of it, but it happens. I'll snap at her and then I feel guilty. Because deep down, I know it's not her fault. Honestly, I get very angry sometimes and I have to go for a walk to clear my mind. Nobody prepares you for all of this. Nobody tells you what it's like to care for an aging adult with a developmental disability. People talk about caring for elderly parents or raising children with special needs. But what about when that child grows up and you're still doing it at age 65? What about when you're aging too? Well, here's what I've learned over the years. And I wish someone had told me this sooner. I'm trying to get through this, guys. When I speak to my niece and I give her instructions and she says, "Yes, I understand," and then does the opposite, she's not lying to me. She's not being defiant. In that moment, when I'm talking to her, she probably doesn't understand, but her brain doesn't hold on to that information the same way that ours does. It's like writing something in the sand. For us, we write it in our minds and it stays there. For her, the wave comes and washes it away almost immediately. She doesn't even realize that it's gone. And as she gets older, it's getting worse. That's the part nobody warned me about. I thought maybe things would get easier or at least stay the same. But some of these behaviors, the forgetting, the repetition, the impulse control, they're getting harder for her to manage as she ages. It's not that she's trying to make my life difficult. I know that. Her brain just works differently. And aging affects people with developmental disabilities just like it affects the rest of us. Sometimes even more. Understanding this doesn't make it less exhausting because you can see that I'm emotional about it. But it does help me remember that when I'm repeating myself for the 10th time that day, it's not personal. So what do I do? How do I cope? I'll be honest, some days I don't cope well. Some days I just survive. But over the years, I've learned a few things that help. And I'm going to explain some of the things that work most of the time. If you continue to stick with me, let's continue. Visual reminders work better than words. I'll put sticky notes around the house, pictures, color-coded systems. If I need her to remember not to touch something, I put a big red X on it. It's not perfect, but it helps more than just telling her. She doesn't cook, so for leftover food, I let her use the microwave to give her some kind of independence. At first, that didn't work as well as I thought it would. You know what I had to do? I had to put a stopper on the 2-minute mark on the microwave, because if I hadn't done that, she would run the microwave for 10 minutes straight as if she was cooking the food all over again. Yes, I had to be very creative. Routines are everything in this house. When things happen the same way at the same time every day, she does better. When I try to change things up, it throws her off completely. I've learned to lower my expectations. And while that may sound a little harsh, I mean it in a loving way. I used to expect that if I explained something well enough, she would remember. Now I know that's not realistic. So I build in the repetition. I accept it as part of our day. I'm not saying it's not hard, because it can get very frustrating. I also remind myself that it could be worse. She could be in a wheelchair, and then I would have to do so much more things for her. I take breaks when I can. My brother helps sometimes, and when he does, I leave the house. Even if it's just to go sit in my car in a parking lot for an hour. I need that space to breathe. Sometimes I will force my brother to spend more time and take care of her more. He doesn't know it yet, but how I do this, I book a trip to Florida to go visit my kids, and then he has no excuse but to do his part. Sorry, but it works for me. I've stopped feeling guilty for being frustrated. This is hard. It's okay to admit that. I love my niece and I'm exhausted by caring for her. Both things can be true at the same time. And the other day, I was very impatient with her, and suddenly the thought came to my mind. What if I had given birth to her and she was my child? And the answer was, then you would have to do the same thing you're doing now. That was a rude awakening for me, because then I could not be asking why me, as I do most days. I would have to accept it, because she would have been my child. One thing that's really helped me is keeping track of things. I know that sounds simple, but when you're exhausted and overwhelmed, your own memory starts to fail as well. I put together a caregiver bundle with a logbook, planner, and journal specifically for people like us. It helps me track my niece's behaviors, medications, appointments, and patterns that I'm seeing. The planner keeps me organized when my brain feels like mush. And the journal, that's for me to process my own feelings, my frustrations, and my small victories. Some days I just need to write down, today was hard, and that's enough. Other days I can see patterns forming that help me understand what's triggering certain behaviors that my niece has. If you think something like that might help you as well, I've also put together a free checklist and daily notes to get you started. You can grab both of those from the links in the description in the video on this video below. And if you want the complete bundle with the logbook, the planner, and journal, that's available too. And the link is going to be in the description. And if you're still watching this video, you're probably in a similar situation, or you're interested in learning about this. Maybe you're caring for an adult child, a sibling, a niece or a nephew like me. Maybe you're in your 60s, 70s, or even older, and you're wondering how much longer you can keep doing this. I want you to know you're not alone. There are nearly 1 million of us out there, caregivers taking care of aging adults with developmental disabilities. We're tired. We feel alone. We're frustrated. We're emotional. We feel guilty for being frustrated. We love the people we care for, and we are also at the end of our rope some days. And that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have endless patience. You're allowed to have difficult days. You're allowed to need help. You're allowed to vent like me when I need to. And if you're like me, you might not have much help coming from family members. But there are resources out there, support groups, respite care programs, and online communities of other caregivers who understand what you're going through. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish either. If you burn out completely, you cannot help anybody else. So make sure you give yourself some grace, kindness, love, and care. I have a habit of just throwing some clothes in a bag and calling my brother to tell him that I booked an Airbnb an hour away and I'm taking time for myself. You have to stand up for yourself. These days, I don't feel guilty about it like I used to. I'm still figuring this thing out myself as I go. I do not have all the answers, but I wanted to make this video because I spent so long feeling like I was the only one dealing with this. And I know now that I'm not, and neither are you. I hope you found value in this video. And if you did, please hit that thumbs up to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my upcoming video where I'm going to share tips on how to stay healthy, both mentally and physically, as you travel on this journey that we call life. The bottom line is that we are doing the best we can with what we have. And some days, that's enough. Thank you so much for watching. And take care of yourself, please, because you matter too. See you soon.